Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. And today guys, it continues on, and I did not intend to do this because it's not like I buy a ton of freaking books. Christmas has come and gone, as has my birthday, and rather than just filming crap as I get it, I've now waited until there's too big of a pile. And so once again, we have entered another portion of the book haul that never ends. So when last we met, I had torn a hole. There was actually a black hole that was weighted down with all of the books and how long it was going to take me to get through them. And then I came out the other side 2 months afterwards, and then time sped up. And then I still had the ability to leap through time, so I gifted that to some of my friends, and now they've been jumping through time, stealing books for me. Well, we have had to lay low and start smuggling things because the heads of the Minimalist faction, Dr. Philip Chase and Joanna, have been hot on our heels trying to steal all of our books and burn them because their creed reads that no one should own more than 3 books. So, if you see either one of them, don't tell them where we are. But here's what's been smuggled in the pipeline in the meantime. I'm gonna have to break this up into 2 videos, unfortunately. So, without wasting any more time,
Let's get down to business.
let's go ahead and start the book Howl. Again, that never ends. Let's go ahead and start with Boosh, The Liar's Key by Mark Lawrence. So this is book 2 of The Red Queen's War. I have book 1. I have not read it. I haven't read anything by Mark Lawrence, actually. But I've been told by Mark over at Slowly Read, who assured me that I do not actually need to read The Broken Empire before I actually read this series. So I actually want to read this series first. This was given to me for my birthday by my wonderful friend and not patron, Angela. So thank you so much, Angela. And again, Year of the Short Book, guys, so maybe I'll pick this up before the end of the year. Who knows? I'm already swamped, and I don't even know how this happened. I don't know how this happened. Like, I just want to finish the series I wanted to finish. But now I'm already committed to 100 other things, so whatever. Next on the list, we have Boosh, The Grand Design by John Marco. And this was gifted to me by my wonderful friend and patron, Andrew, from Andrew's Wizardly Reads. Thank you for smuggling this past the guards. This is book 2 of, what is this, Tyrants and Kings. The first book is called the Jackal of Nar. And look at this book. This is not the Year of the Short Book. What is this? Like, oh my gosh, this is so long. I haven't read this book. I have some of my people in my Discord have told me that this series is good. I've heard that the villain is really good in this series, and that there's, like, war machines. I love war machines. So many things on my TBR. Thank you so much, Andrew. I can't wait to start this series at some point. Next on the list, we have Boosh, The Daughter of the Empire by Janie Wirtz and Raymond E. Feist. And this is gifted to me by my wonderful patron, Wendy. So, Patrick has talked endlessly about how good this series is. Everyone talks about how good this series is. The thing is, I haven't read the other Rift War novels, and everyone's like, you don't have to, but I do have to. Like, I want to read the other Rift War novels. The problem with that is that I started Magician Apprentice twice, many years ago, and I couldn't do it. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll read this first, but I've heard this is really good. It's the first book of, is it the Daughter of the Empire trilogy? Servant of the Empire trilogy. Yeah. Anyway, I have not read Janie Wirtz, but I've heard she is excellent. So, we will see what I think of this. Hopefully, there's not too much in Rift War that I want to understand in this book, because I haven't read the other Rift War books. So we'll see. I just need there to not be a character named Pug in this book. Next up, we have Boosh, and this is 2 of Swords by K.J. Parker. This is the 3rd 2 of Swords book in this series, and this was gifted to me by my wonderful friend and patron, Zara. Thank you so much, Zara. Zara is the other true believer of K.J. Parker. And, we read some Parker every month. I love Parker, definitely one of my favorite authors. This was, at the time this was given to me, this was the last K.J. Parker physical book that I did not own. So this completed my K.J. Parker collection. I now own all books in physical form published under the name KJ Parker, which pleases me greatly. So thank you so much, Zara. This is one of the series we'll start reading. We're reading the standalones. We're kind of wiping out the standalones first. We're coming close, and then we're going to hit the series. So I'm pumped. Next on the list, we have Boosh. Boom, boom. Books 2 and 3 in the Siege trilogy, also by KJ Parker. How to Rule an Empire and Get Away with It, and A Practical Guide to Conquering the World. This one was gifted to me by Abby as a Christmas present. Thank you so much, Abby. Abby is my ostensibly British friend, and she is amazing. Please check her out. And then this is also gifted to me by Wendy, smuggled through the pipeline, barely escaping Philip Chase's Minimalist Gestapo. But they made it safely. These are book 2 and 3. The first one is 16 Ways to Defend a Walled City, which everyone who I know that's read has really liked. Klaus spoke very highly of it. Leanna spoke very highly of it. So I'm pumped to read. I think maybe Leanna hated it. I know Klaus liked it. So again, more Parker. I'll be reading it. You know, read some Parker, guys. I know no one's thrilled that Walker's going to be reading some more Parker this time. Guys, it's so good. Like, you should read it. It's so good. Next up, these were not gifts. I purchased these on my own. It's Boosh Boosh. Blood Rites and Death Masks. And I think that's the order they go in. Maybe they go like this. Anyway, these are one of them is book 5, and one of them is book 6 of the Dresden Files. And this is because I've started listening to / reading the Dresden Files. I hate the American skinny paperback of these, so I order the UK versions. And I really like them. I like the way they feel. I like the way they look. They all look the same. Super excited. I've been reading one Dresden a month. I'm currently in the middle of Grave Peril. So yeah, just add these over to the pile, and I'll be reading these pretty soon as I can get to them. Next up, we have Boosh, The Declaration on the Rights of Magicians, and this is by, I don't know, H.G. Perry, and this is the first book in something about the Shadow Histories. This was kindly gifted to me by my friend and nemesis, Leanna, who wants me to read this because it sounds really cool. It has like Robespierre with magic, and like William Penn. Is it William Penn? William Pitt with magic, and the weather mage Toussaint. Friggin' awesome. Like, the fact that Robespierre is like a wizard, that sounds so cool. Like, it sounds so cool. I really hope I like this and that it's not dumb. So if you've read this, will I like this, or is it dumb? Or will I just not like it? It can not be dumb and me not like it. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's dumb. But I haven't heard a ton of people talking about this. I know Leanna made Bookborn read this, but she won't tell me what she thought, so I don't know. And, again, Bookborn doesn't like pistols in her fantasy, so, I mean, she's wrong on that. Flintlock Fantasy's awesome. So, yeah, I hope to read this as well. It just sounds freaking cool, but, yeah. Next up, we have Boosh, The Lions of Al-Rasad. Is it Al-Rasad? Al-Rasad, dadgummit. By GGK, Gavriel Kay. This was a Christmas present from my good buddy and defeated foe, Jimmy Nuts, over at the Fantasy Network. I love Gavriel Kay. Tigana was awesome. This one is based on medieval Spain, where kind of Tigana was ostensibly based on kind of the mercantile Italy, which is more my speed as far as the setting is concerned, but I've heard excellent things about this. It is a standalone. Gavriel Kay is not, again, I'm not a mood reader, but Gavriel Kay does require a certain mood. Those aren't the same thing. They're just not. So don't come and be like, you're a mood reader. No, I'm not, because most of the crap I read, I just read because I'm supposed to. But sometimes there are certain books that you gotta be kind of in a state of being. And Gavriel Kay is one of them, because, you know, otherwise, it's just like, oh man, get to the point. But I really like Tigana, so I'm excited to read this. Next we have, and I don't know why, we have Boosh, Unclean Spirits. This is book 1 of the Black Sun's Daughter series by MLN Hanover. So one thing that happens a lot on my channel is, for some reason, I read authors that also have that have pseudonyms, or the authors that I read is the pseudonym. And so 2 things happen all the time. Is people tell me that, hey, KJ Parker is Tom Holt. I know. I'm a huge KJ Parker fan. I would be remiss to not know that. So I do know that. And the other one is, did you know Daniel Abraham is also ML Hanover and wrote urban fantasy books? I do. And so, because I'm a huge Abraham fan, I ordered this. Everyone should just take a second, and you should go to the Audible webpage. and you should listen to the sample of this book on Audible. You should, like, just pause the video here, go, and then come back, and then tell me your thoughts. So I got this. The chances of me enjoying this book are not high. I just, like, just listen to the sample and then reading the first few pages. Oh my gosh, it's just not going to be for me. I will probably read this first one just because, I mean, I should have known from the cover. But just because I like Daniel Abraham. So I'll probably read this. Maybe I can find something in here that is Abrahamic. But who knows? If you've read this and you've read other Abraham, where do we stack up? So we'll see. I don't love urban fantasy as it is, but we'll see. But do me a favor, go listen to that sample. Next, we have Boosh, Children of Ruin, also gifted to me by my wonderful friend Abby. But this one's for my birthday as opposed to Christmas. See how long I've had this crap lying around? This is the sequel to Children of Time, which everyone wants me to read so bad because it's amazing. Guys, I'm getting there. But I'm working through, like, Tchaikovsky's fantasy just appeals to me more than, because fantasy appeals to me more than science fiction just in general. But I will read Children of Time, and this is a sequel, and I think there's a third one, Children of is coming out at some point soon-ish. But yeah, I've heard mixed reviews about this one. Children of Time is almost universally praised from people I know. And this one is, a lot of people say it's really good, and then some people don't like it at all, and then some people don't like it as much as the first one. Children of Time is about spiders and then people trying to survive post-Earth or something. I don't know. It's science fiction. I know Sarah really likes it. A bunch of people really like it. Colton says, Colton, is that your favorite book, like, ever? So help me if one more person freaking pings me in this school Discord. Hold on, I gotta mute this. I'm gonna read all of Tchaikovsky. I'll get to this eventually for sure. Next on the list, we have Boosh, A Touch of Light by Thiago Abdallah. This is a self-published novel. It actually just came out in March. It's the first book in, what is it? The Age of Ashes of Averin, book 1. And this is a naked hardback. Like, look at this. This is gorgeous. Look at that. Zoom in, zoom in. There we go. Like, what a really pretty book. And, like, just the inside is, like, quality. And I read it on ebook. I wish I'd have read this thing. Like, this is just amazing. I have a review for this. I really, really enjoyed this. You absolutely should check it out. Check my review out. And then if you hear anything you like, go read this book. Support self-published authors. I am so excited on what Abdallah has begun with this series. And I think he told me that a novella's coming out really soon, which, nice. Like, that's freaking awesome. And I think book 2 is coming out soon as well. So I'm pumped. But this is a quality production right here. Go get this beaut. Next up, we have Boosh, and I love these old paperbacks. These are my favorite. This is Magician Apprentice by Raymond E. Feist. This is the aforementioned book that I had to rebuy because I threw this book away a long time ago. The main character's name is Pug, guys. That's not a good name. Like, that's just not. We're supposed to follow and root for a character named Pug? Pug is not a protagonist. Pug is a side character that maybe dies in book 4. What? I've tried twice to read this book. I don't remember anything about it other than Pug. Maybe I'll read this. Maybe I'll skip straight to the Janie Warts books. But I don't know why they don't produce books like this anymore. Why does it have to be tall, skinny paperback or, floppy paperback or hardback? Where's the old school MMPB? You can tell it's good because the pages are yellowing. Speaking of yellowing pages, look at this well, a piece of the cover literally just fell off as I lifted it up. This is Barriar, I think, by Lois McMaster Bujold. This is book 2, chronologically, of the Vorkosigan saga. I'm actually having to read Shards of Honor, the first book in the Vorkosigan saga, this month because it was the patron pick, and I'm excited. It's like it's less than 300 pages, and looks like it's gonna read really smoothly. I've heard really good things about this series, and it's sci-fi, so it's kind of win-win-win-win. So this is book 2, and again, look at how yellow those pages are. And so this is book 2. It continues the first book, less than 400 pages. What up? So yeah, I got this because I don't like if you've seen Shards of Honor, just check out my TBR, or you've probably already seen my TBR before this airs. Go and look at that. Like I hate that. Ugh, that book is hideous. Like it's ugly and it doesn't feel good in the hands. It's just terrible. So I'm like, I'm gonna get these old paperbacks instead. Next up, we've got Boosh. Medici or Medici. I never know. Is it Medici or Medici? Someone tell me. Money by Tim Parks. This is a nonfiction book, and this is one of my favorite books that I got for my birthday. This was gifted to me by the hand of the king, Klaus, and apropos, since, he's the right hand. So I put this on my wish list because Daniel Abraham says that this is the book he researched banking with when he wrote the Dagger and the Coin series, which I'm in the middle of and deals with, fantasy banking. This is about the Medici family, and they ran a bank for, actually not very long, but the Medici family were the merchant princes of Italy at the time, and that kind of stuff really fascinates me, like old school banking. And so I definitely wanted to read this just to know more about it, because it's not like, again, my specializations are in ancient history, not in, so I know just general knowledge about things after ancient history, as opposed to, everything I know about the ancient history stuff. So I'm really excited to read this. Like, I've already begun. I already read the prologue, and it's nonfiction, but I don't know why. Like banking now sucks, and it's boring, and it's really stupid and lame. But banking back then was freaking, just so cool. So yeah, for research purposes myself, and for just understanding more, I am super pumped to read Medici Money. Next up, Boosh. Savages by KJ Parker. So this is the only sub-press book by KJ Parker that isn't a novella or a novella collection. This was actually the hardest book for both me and Zara to track down in physical copy. Like, sub-press only released, this one's signed, and it's number 851 of 1,000. So there's only 1,000 of these floating around. And I'm not certain there's an ebook. So this was the most expensive Parker book for me to acquire, but I'm glad I did. Whoa! Oh my gosh! Because I wanted this in hardcover. I wanted to be able to read it. So this is a standalone novel in the world. It's about a nameless protagonist. He has a lot of nameless protagonists. And then, of course, there's a host of colorful characters, as usual. Yeah, he wakes up and finds that there is a war going on in the world. There's a master military strategist, a former pacifist who inherits his father's moribund arms business, a beautiful forger, and a very lucky counterfeiter. This just sounds like the same kind of rogues gallery that Parker usually writes about. And again, this is probably going to deal with imperialism and colonization, because the people they're fighting against are the savages. We saw a little bit of this in The Hammer. I don't know if this was written before Hammer or afterwards. I think this was written afterwards, so it's probably a continuation of his exploration into civilized versus savage that he did in The Hammer. But yeah, we'll be reading this pretty soon. Next, the final good that Wendy was able to smuggle me, The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco. So this is not something I normally read, but it's about a Franciscan monk who's solving a murder. And I have heard nothing but praise about this book really my entire life. This book has come up a lot over the course of my reading life. And most recently, when I was talking to Richard Swan about his inspirations for Justice of Kings. And this is one of them, as well as Robert Harris's Imperium, his Cicero trilogy. And so I'm excited to read this. Klaus says it's really good. I haven't had anybody who's read this book. My wife's read it, and she says it's good. No one that I know has read this book did not like it. It is kind of long, but I'm really interested to see what this is about. If you've read Name of the Rose, let me know. Am I going to like this book? I hope so. Next, we've got Boosh, Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. So this is book 1 of the Leviathan trilogy. This is actually, and I didn't actually know this till recently, this is actually a YA steampunk novel. And I like steampunk, and I'm still looking for that breakout steampunk novel. This is about, I think it's World War I. Is it World War I? Maybe it's World War II. I don't know. It's the Brits and the Germans fighting, so who knows. And the Brits create, have these, I guess, robot beasts. Or maybe they're cloned beasts. I don't know. The Brits have some kind of animal monster things, while the Germans have steam-powered war machines. And this is Darren, who is a girl disguised as a boy, so that she can join the British Air Service and fight against the Germans. So, I mean, that sounds freaking cool. And, you know, hopefully it does. It's got pictures in it. What? So hopefully it reads pretty easily, but I love steampunk. And I've looked at the reviews of this, and, you know, no one's really trashing it. So, this was gifted to me by my wonderful friend, Vish, all the way from Australia for my birthday. So thank you so much, Vish. I super appreciate it. So next, from the master thief, the one who broke into the old man's lair and brought me so many books back in the Time Bandit haul, from Stephanie B. She had already gotten, she ended up getting 2 of the Age of Ash Goldsboro special editions, and so sent me one of them. And in addition, sent me the Gauntlet, the Fist and the Gauntlet Beneath, or the Gauntlet and the Fist Beneath, as well, because that was on my list. So, special editions of these, which is freaking awesome. As you know, I loved Age of Ash. I'll put my review right there if you want to see it. Gauntlet and the Fist Beneath, I've always just thought was a really cool title for a book. I'm not 100% sure what it's about, other than fighting an empire or an empire fighting something else, but it does look very interesting. I love the lightning on the freaking edge of it. It's only 400 pages. What? So, now, a lot of people really like the plastic sleeves that they put over this. I think it feels like I'm holding like a library book, which I don't like the feel of it. So I may strip the protectors and just keep like the books. I know it's supposed to protect, but what if I just didn't destroy the book? What if I just took care of it instead? But thank you so much for being able to, the crates that these came in, man, they were beaten. They must have been, the minimalists must have gotten a hold of them pretty, must have been a tight spot getting these through. But they made it through the embargo line. So, thank you so much, Stefan. And we're almost done, but next I have Boosh, Stones of Light by Zach Argyle, and this is book 2 in the Threadlight series. And so Zach very kindly sent me a copy of the second book, because I was like, hey, where do I buy another hardback? Are there still hardbacks for sale? Because he sent me the first one, which is the cool one of a kind one that has way more black or white or something. It's got way more of one of the colors. And he's like, look, I'll just send you one. And which is awesome, because I really want to read these this year. I would love to read these prior to the third book coming out in August. I really hope I'm going to get to that, but I'm definitely going to read these this year. Zach is such an awesome guy. If you are not following him on Twitter, you should. If you have not read his books, you should. I heard that this book is better than the first one in every way, which is freaking awesome. And these wolves, super cool. And there's pictures in here, which I always really like. I think there were pictures in the front. Oh, yep, pictures, yes. So, Stones of Light. Next we have Boosh, The Emperor's Edge by Lindsay Baroker. This is book 1 of the Emperor's Edge series. She has 9 books in this series, and they're all really short. And it's about assassins, and probably a lot of leaning involved. But I thought it looked cool. They're self-published, and maybe they read really quickly. So this was gifted to me by my wonderful friend and patron Christy, who, the last thing she gifted me, or one of the things she gifted me, was the Warlord Chronicles. And then it won in the patron read, and I read them, and now they're one of my favorite series of all time. So, good taste. She's read this and doesn't think that it's to my taste, but wants me to read it. She put this on the patron wheel. We'll see. There's one problem with this book. Someone did not tell Lindsay Baroker that the font choice in this book is not a good choice. I'm going to show y'all. It is really difficult to read. Let me show you. Hopefully it'll focus on it. I want you to look at this font. Look at that. Look at how hard that is to read. It's really hard to read. That's not a good choice for font. So, oof. But, if it comes up on the wheel, I'm going to read it. Maybe it's just this book, or maybe it's a misprint or something. Surely that can't be by design. But thank you so much, Christy. Emperor's Edge. And then finally, Boosh, Spoils of War by Adrian Tchaikovsky. These are Tales from the Apt. This is the first volume of the Tales from the Apt. These are stories taking place in and around and amongst the Shadows of the Apt series. I got this. You're not really supposed to read them till after you've completed the book because it talks about characters, or completed the series because it talks about characters that haven't appeared yet, or whatever. And really, there's only 2 stories that take place before the series begins. So I am collecting these because I love Shadows of the Apt. I really want to be able to get. In fact, one of my patrons put the Scarab Path, book 5, on the wheel. Fingers crossed that comes up because I'll have to read it, even though it's long, but still. So, Spoils of War, Shadow of the Apt, book 1 of the short stories. So I'm pumped to get to this as well. So guys, that is it for me for today. That is, I don't want to make this run over by. So I did half, and we'll do the other half next time, provided I can continue avoiding Philip, Joanna, and their minimalist factions, because their hatred of book hauls, is well known. So, shh, keep it on the DL. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have you read any of these? Which ones am I going to enjoy, and which ones am I going to be like, ooh? Tell me which ones are the best ones in there. Are you interested in Renaissance banking? I am. Thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.